My name's Erica, and I live in Spokane, Washington. I had been with Chris for almost 4 years. He was sweet, laid back, and obsessed with fantasy football. Not exactly Prince Charming, but he made me laugh, and I felt safe with him. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but whose is? We met at a mutual friend's barbecue. He spilled beer on my new sandals, apologized profusely, and then offered me his jacket when the evening got chilly. That's Chris, clumsy but thoughtful. Or at least, that's what I thought. We moved at a comfortable pace. Dinner dates became weekend trips. Weekend trips became meeting the parents. Then, his toothbrush appeared in my bathroom, followed by his clothes in my closet. Before I knew it, we were practically living together at my place, though he kept his apartment across town for space. I should have seen the red flags. The times his phone would ding late at night and he'd turn it face down. The weekends he'd disappear for guys' trips but return without stories. The way he'd dodge questions about our future. But love has a way of blinding you, doesn't it? Our anniversary was coming up, 4 years. I wanted to do something special. Chris had always talked about this lakeside cabin outside of Spokane. He had seen it on Instagram and mentioned it at least a dozen times. Someday we should go there, he'd say, showing me photos of the pine trees reflecting in crystal clear water. So 3 months before our anniversary, I booked it. I paid extra for the premium cabin with the private dock and panoramic windows. I requested champagne in the fridge and roses on the bed. I even arranged for a local chef to prepare dinner on our first night. Keep the weekend of the 15th free, I told him over breakfast one morning. I've got something planned. He looked up from his phone, smiled, and said, "Sounds mysterious." I'm in. He asked about it a few times in the following weeks. What should I pack, or is it outdoorsy or fancy? I kept the details vague, enjoying the rare opportunity to surprise him. Each time I mentioned it, he reassured me he was excited. The week before, I reminded him again. Don't forget about this weekend, I said as we lay in bed. Wouldn't miss it for the world, he replied, kissing my forehead. I can't believe it's been 4 years. The day arrived. I took the day off work to prepare. I packed the car with everything we'd need, hiking boots for the trails, wine for the evenings, and a new blue dress that matched my eyes for our anniversary dinner. I made a playlist of songs that marked our relationship milestones. I even created a scrapbook of our memories, ticket stubs from concerts, photos from vacations, napkins from restaurants where we'd celebrated past anniversaries. By noon, the car was packed. Chris was supposed to meet me at my place at 2 p.m. so we could drive to the cabin together. At 2:30, he hadn't shown up. I called. No answer. I texted. No reply. By 4 p.m., anxiety had replaced excitement. I called his best friend, Marcus. Have you heard from Chris today? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. No, Marcus replied, hesitation in his voice. Isn't today your anniversary thing? Yeah, it is, I said. The silence on the other end spoke volumes. At 7 p.m., the cabin called. Ms. Miller? We were expecting you 3 hours ago. Will you still be arriving tonight? I'm not sure, I said, my voice hollow. Can I call you back? Finally, at 7:30 p.m., my phone rang. Chris's face lit up my screen. Hey, babe, he said casually. Too casually. As if it were any ordinary Friday night. Where are you? I asked. Oh crap, babe, I totally forgot. Can we do next weekend? 5 words. I totally forgot. For years together, and he forgot the one weekend I had asked him to remember. But it wasn't just disappointment I felt. Something in his voice felt off, too rehearsed, too casual for such a massive oversight. It's fine, I said, and hung up. It wasn't fine. Nothing about this was fine. But a strange calm had settled over me. Rather than cry or scream, I went into detective mode. I opened my laptop and checked our shared cloud storage. We'd set it up to back up our photos automatically. That's when I noticed his iPad had recently synced. He'd left it at my place months ago and claimed he didn't need it anymore. "Keep it for watching movies," he'd said. I found the iPad beneath a stack of magazines. The battery was low, but it still had enough charge. I opened iMessage. There it was. A full conversation with someone named Jen Jim. Hundreds of messages going back months. Only she wasn't from his gym. Her real name was Jennifer Layton, and she worked at his office. I scrolled through their exchanges, each message another knife in my heart. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Still thinking about last weekend. What should I pack for our trip?" Their trip. They'd been exchanging photos, flirty texts, and plans for a weekend getaway. That same weekend. My anniversary weekend. They were in Seattle. At the Waterfront Hotel, a place Chris and I had once talked about visiting. I took screenshots. Every message. Every photo. Every lie. My hands didn't shake, my eyes remained dry. This wasn't sadness, this was something colder, more calculated. Then I saw it, a reservation confirmation. Chris had booked their Seattle getaway 2 months ago, 1 month after I'd told him about my anniversary surprise. He'd had plenty of time to come clean, to break up with me, to show a shred of decency. Instead, he chose to string me along while planning his romantic weekend with Jennifer. I sent the screenshots to his mom, Sandra, who had always treated me like a daughter. "I thought you should know who your son really is," I wrote. Then I sent them to his younger sister, Megan, who had once pulled me aside at a family barbecue and whispered, "Be careful. Chris isn't as innocent as you think." Next, I called the Waterfront Hotel in Seattle. "Hello, I'd like to leave a message for one of your guests," I said pleasantly. "Chris Anderson and Jennifer Layton." "Of course," said the receptionist. "Would you like me to put you through to their room?" "No, thank you. I just want to send up a gift. They're celebrating a special occasion." I had their room number. I called a local florist and ordered their largest, most ostentatious arrangement of lilies, the flowers they use at funerals, to be delivered to their room with a note, "Congratulations on 4 years of memories. All of them are documented." Then, I packed up his things from my apartment. Every t-shirt, every video game, every fantasy football trophy. I carefully folded each item and placed it in neat boxes. On top, I placed the scrapbook I'd made, our entire relationship documented in painful detail, right up to the screenshots of his betrayal on the final pages. I drove to his apartment, the one he kept, for space, and left everything outside his door. I didn't slam them down or create a scene. I simply stacked them neatly, rang the doorbell once, and walked away. Back at home, I poured myself a glass of the champagne I'd bought for our celebration and finally let myself feel. The anger, the hurt, the humiliation, it all crashed over me in waves. But beneath it all was something else, relief. Relief that I'd discovered the truth before wasting any more years on someone who could discard me so easily. My phone buzzed around midnight. A text from Chris. "You didn't have to ruin my life." I took a long sip of champagne, considering my response. Finally, I typed. "You did that all by yourself." Then I blocked his number. The next morning, my phone exploded with notifications. Sandra had called Chris home and confronted him with the evidence. Jennifer's boyfriend, yes, she had one too, had seen the messages and ended things publicly. Chris's sister had shared the story with their extended family. His father, a partner at a conservative law firm, was furious about the embarrassment to their family name. Meanwhile, Jennifer's boyfriend had posted about the betrayal on social media, tagging their workplace. By Monday, everyone at their office knew. Chris's carefully cultivated image as the nice guy from accounting was shattered. I didn't participate in the fallout. I didn't need to. The truth was doing all the work for me. A week later, Megan called me. "He's a mess," she said. "He lost his promotion. Jennifer transferred departments. Mom won't speak to him." "I'm sorry for the family drama," I said, and I meant it. Sandra had always been kind to me. "Don't be," Megan replied. "He deserved worse. I just wanted to check on you." "I'm okay," I said, surprised to find it wasn't a lie. "Actually, I'm going away this weekend." "Oh. To that lakeside cabin." Turns out, they had a cancellation. And that's exactly what I did. I drove to the cabin alone, took long walks by the water, and slept in the middle of the king-sized bed. I drank champagne on the dock and watched the sunset paint the lake gold. I didn't take a single photo or check my phone all weekend. On my last morning there, the cabin owner stopped by to check on me. "Weren't you supposed to come with someone?" he asked kindly. "I was," I replied. "But sometimes people aren't who you think they are." He nodded sagely. "Well, I hope you found what you needed here anyway." Had I found what I needed? Revenge hadn't healed my broken heart or erased 4 wasted years. But as I drove back to Spokane that evening, I realized something. I didn't regret exposing Chris. I regretted not seeing him clearly sooner. 2 months later, I ran into him at a coffee shop. He looked thinner, tired. He saw me and froze, coffee halfway to his lips. "Erica," he said, my name somewhere between a question and a plea. I considered ignoring him, walking past as if he were a stranger. Instead, I stopped. "Why?" I asked simply. "You could have just ended things." He looked down at his coffee. "I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed, a short, sharp sound that made the barista glance our way. "That worked out well, didn't it?" He flinched. "You destroyed everything. My family, my job." "No," I interrupted. "You did that the moment you decided to lie instead of leave." I turned to go, then paused. Was she worth it? Something flickered across his face, regret, maybe, or just self-pity. "We're not together anymore," he said quietly. I nodded, unsurprised. Relationships built on lies rarely last. As I walked away, he called after me, "I really did love you, you know." I didn't turn around. I didn't need to see his face to know he was lying. Again. That night, I sat on my balcony watching the Spokane skyline twinkle in the distance. My phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Jennifer. I know you hate me, and you have every right to. But I need you to know that Chris lied to me too. He said you two were broken up." I stared at the message for a long time. Was she telling the truth? Did it even matter anymore? I decided not to respond. Their drama wasn't mine to untangle. Instead, I opened my laptop and booked a flight to San Diego, a place I'd always wanted to visit but Chris had always dismissed as too touristy. As I confirmed my reservation, I smiled to myself. The best revenge wasn't exposing Chris's lies or watching his carefully constructed life crumble. The best revenge was living well, on my own terms, without looking back. But sometimes, late at night, I still wonder, did I go too far? Or not far enough?